overspread of an institution that you know is wrong.
He goes through every single argument that has been thrown against the Republicans and logically deconstructs it.
And then he ends with,
"Let us have faith that right makes might, and in that faith, dare to do our duty as we understand it."
It was a magical performance.
And at the end, people were saying, this is the greatest speech we've heard in New York ever.
The audience leapt to its feet. People threw hats in the air. Then he goes off to a banquet in his honor. By the time he gets on the trolley, his feet hurt so much, he's limping. But did he go back to the hotel? No. He cut across to the offices of the New York Tribune and he read proof of the speech before it was set in type and edited it. He wanted this to be perfect, because Lincoln cared about getting it into the press. That's where campaigns were won and lost.
And before long, copies of the Brady photo spring up in illustrated weeklies, alongside stories of Lincoln's rise.
Lincoln is coming of age in the world of mass journalism, and she's a master of communication.
He was illustrating his speech, delivering it, promoting it, all in the same 24 hours. The post-Cooper Union momentum built spontaneously.
Lincoln begins touring New England, performing variations on the Cooper Union speech for eager audiences.
In Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, 2-hour speeches everywhere. He went, always ending with right makes might.
Lincoln schedules a stop in Exeter, New Hampshire, where his oldest son, Robert, is in boarding school.
Robert thinks this is really embarrassing. I have to sit with my blue-blooded friends and hear my Western father give a speech. One of the boys said, "Too bad Bob has such an ugly father." Well, Robert is sinking in his chair in shame. And then, according to the Exeter Press, Lincoln stands up and the dazzling begins. And then when it's over, the boys all come and slap Bob on the back and say, "Wow, your father is something else."
In May of 1860, the Republican National Convention is held in Chicago. Going into the convention, Senator William H. Seward of New York remains the frontrunner.
Lincoln sneaks in as a fresh-faced, moderate candidate from the West.
Lincoln was a dark horse candidate.
The balloting begins. On the first ballot, Seward is out in front. No surprise there. But Lincoln is second. They go to a second ballot. Seward stays more or less the same. Lincoln begins to catch up. The crowd is getting excited for Lincoln. The third ballot comes along. Lincoln draws even with Seward. And the head of the Ohio delegation announces that Ohio is going to change 4 of its votes for Lincoln. The entire hall erupts.
Lincoln emerged as the Republican nominee.
The Cincinnati newspaper said that an entire tribe of shrieking Comanches and an acre of hotel gongs could have been lost in the hall. You wouldn't have heard them at all with the whoop that went up for Lincoln.
Where was Lincoln when all these ballots were being cast? He was sitting in the office of the Republican newspaper in Springfield, Illinois, in his favorite chair, waiting for the telegram. He accepts the handshakes of all of his friends and he says, thank you, gentlemen, but I've really got to go home. There's a little woman who is going to be more interested in this than you are. And makes his way home to tell Mary that her dream is coming true. through all of the defeats, disappointments, setbacks, he still, through words and a bit through images, he had made himself the leader of the Republican Party.
This CNN original series, Lincoln, Divided We Stand, is brought to you by Fidelity Investments.
Introducing Fidelity Income Planning.